My name is Marissa Lotzenheiser, and I work with a nonprofit organization called Rural Action. With Rural Action, I work in their watershed restoration program, and I am a watershed coordinator in Huff Run and Mud Run watershed. Right now, we're not in Huff Run or Mud Run. We are in Fry's Creek watershed. Everyone lives in a watershed. Right now, we're in Fry's Creek watershed, where we are doing an experiment with a local high school teacher. The teacher has placed leaf litter bags in 3 streams so that we can examine the water quality of the 3 different streams. Each of the streams is different, and as you can tell, Fry's Creek is a pretty nice creek. You'll see that there's lots of trees around the watershed, and the stream itself kind of bends and turns. The bending and turning is good because it has lots of ripples, lots of places for bugs called aquatic macroinvertebrates to live. So I'm going to go out in the stream and grab a bag full of leaves so we can see if there's any bugs inside. I'm standing in Fry's Creek right now. As you can see, there's lots of good rocks. Rocks are important because on the undersides is where bugs live. You have to have rocks to have a good stream. So I'm going to roll up my coat and get down in the water to cut off a bag. As you can tell, we have to clearly mark that we're doing an experiment to make sure no one disrupts these bags. So, we have successfully removed a leaf bag. As you can tell, there's different types of leaves, and we're going to take them back to the office where we'll look inside and see if there's anything living.
At the next stream, getting ready to get our leaf litter bag out. And if you notice, the area is completely different than where we were. So we panned out and showed you some stuff. We have a coal mining operation, we have a farm that is close by, and we have the stream. And as Marissa talked about earlier, the stream doesn't have a lot of tree cover. It's pretty straight, doesn't really meander very much. We have some culvert pipes that are flowing into the stream. And when we look at this, not only do we have snow melt, from everything. It is raining, so we have that going on. But some of the water coming into the stream is clear, and some of the pipes are showing that the water is really dirty and filled with sediment. So this is why when we did our experiment, you put 3 different substances into your pan. You started out with gravel, and that seemed pretty easy to blow on, to blow the air through. Then you put the sand in, and that seemed a little bit harder. And then when you put the soil on top of everything else, then that created a situation where it was very, very hard, or you might not even have been able to blow through your straw. So think about if you were a creature living in the bottom of this water, the same thing is going to be happening. So the sediment is filling in. We have evidence of it happening. So Marissa's going to go down and get the leaf litter bag and see if we can notice a difference just by doing that. Okay, so while Marissa's in the stream, let's notice this pipe. And you can see how the water coming out of the pipe has a lot of sediment, a lot of dirt in it. And as we look down the stream, we can see how straight and narrow it is. And this pipe over here, you can see that the water's kind of clear. And if we would go back up to the top and notice the field that the water's coming from over here has a cover on it, and so there's not a lot of erosion happening. But the field that there was a lot of sediment coming from, it was bare and muddy and had a lot of stuff going on. And when we look downstream, the stream seems to increase. If you notice, you can see that they have cover on the banks, and there's trees that are growing. So there's going to be a difference even between the part where Marissa is removing the leaf bag and from downstream. Hopefully downstream we'll be able to stop some of the sediment buildup.
The leaf bag from this site. As you can tell, there's a lot more water coming through this stream. And also, the leaf bags are completely covered. At the last stream, Fry's Creek, you could actually see the tops of the stakes that the leaf bags are attached to. In this stream, which is Mud Run, you can't see the tops of the stakes. So we are going to take this bag, see the water dripping from it? There's a lot more sediment in this stream. You can attribute a lot of the sediment to the land use, what people do around the stream. Like Marcia talked about with your experiment, remember the sand and the soil and the gravel? That has a lot of real life implications. So I'm gonna hop out of Mud Run and we're gonna look for some
Welcome back. We are now at the Soil and Water office and we are getting ready to see what kind of bugs we got. So what I'm going to do is get the leaf bags out and we'll check out and see if we got any critters.
One thing that Marissa and I noticed yesterday was we got the leaf bag from Fry's Valley, which is this one right here. And the Fry's Valley one, the tag on the leaf bag, if you notice, looks like white clear plastic. And when we pull out the leaf bag from Mud Run, now Mud Run has a lot of acid mine drainage in it, which means it has a lot of iron in the water. And acid mine drainage is from mining operations, and when the iron comes out into the water and hits oxygen, it turns like a reddish orange color. And if you notice, the little plastic tab on the leaf bag from Mud Run has that iron oxide on it. So the first one we're going to do is the one from Fry's Valley. And pretty much what you want to do is dump the contents out. And then look closely. We want to, number one, we want to look for anything that might be crawling. Number two, you can take the leaves and you can kind of flip them over and check out what is on the surfaces of each of the leaves and try to figure out what we have. And the sad thing is, the leaf litter bag that we had from Fry's Valley, it doesn't have anything in it. There are no aquatic macros at all. And we have to remember that this is an experiment. So in prepping for getting the macros out of the leaf bags, I had sent you a picture of the paper that we would lay out. So if we were, since we are doing this, then we would have little plastic containers around each circle, and then whatever bugs that we would have found, we would have then put them into the containers and been able to keep an inventory and been able to say we found 5 of these and 5 of those. Since we didn't find anything, we're going to kind of talk about what a healthy stream may have. I also sent you paper that looks like this, and it had a checkoff list. So when we look at things that are healthy, we're going to be looking at, we're looking for mayflies, stoneflies, dobson flies, alder flies, or caddis flies. That's in this first list here. And also, that would be very healthy. So let's kind of find some of those bugs so we know what they look like, so you know what to identify. So this one right here is a caddis. So other things that are healthy in the healthy stream would be a stonefly or a dobson fly. So this right here is a stonefly. And when we look at him, he has 2 antennas that stick out on actually both ends. So the stonefly, this is a picture of the stonefly right there. And on the card. And you can tell that it does have legs. It tells you that it has claws and it has wing pads that may or may not be visible. So that would be the stonefly. And it looks like we need to kind of keep moving on, but those are some examples of what you would find in a healthy stream, or a very healthy stream. So the next is we're going to move to a healthy habitat, and when we look at our list, it says that we should be seeing dragonflies, damselflies, beetles, beetle larvae, craneflies, flatworms, soapbugs, scuds, and water boatmans. One of my favorite creatures at the Norma Johnson Center wetland is the water boatman. And he actually, the two legs act like oars, and he just paddles around. And he's just kind of fun to watch as he swims. He also has a white belly to help identify him. And that, what we're seeing, is his back. Other things that mean a healthy water source would be a dragonfly nymph. And believe it or not, dragonflies start out, trying to get that light off the card, there we go, start out in the water. And so they kind of look kind of dinosauric, and they start out in the water, and then lo and behold, after a while, they're flying around with those two wings that kind of, people say they look like helicopters. The difference between a damselfly, which this is a damselfly, and a dragonfly, once they start flying, is when the damselfly lands, it has a long egg-lated body, and its wings go up behind its back. And dragonfly, their wings are actually laid out, like airplane wings. So those are two examples of a healthy stream. Because we know let's run, which is our next sample. We know that that wasn't really the best water situation. And so notice our water droplets for Fry's Valley, kind of clear, not too muddy. And so let's check out when we dump this. We can already see that the water that's coming out of the leaf bag is different than the Fry's Valley one. So right off, we probably noticed that the leaves look kind of orangey. The leaves from the Fry's Valley was all dark and black, and these ones are red. We also see that the water that's coming out has a reddish tint too. So that tells us that there is iron oxide in the water and causing some of that pollution in that spring. And so, or in that river stream. And so when we look at the leaf bag, it's very sad. We would sort through all the leaves, which I did earlier, and there's no bugs. So, you know, it's been really, really cold this winter, and they're probably really deep in the mud. Who knows? At least that's what I'm saying. So let's go over here. An unhealthy stream would have midges and black flies and leeches. So this is the card that talks about black flies, kind of icky and kind of gross. Those guys can handle a habitat that is polluted, not very healthy. Leeches are one of those things that they like to attach to you, and they like to pull blood out of your body. Sounds kind of gross, but they can live in a very polluted area. They actually, when you watch them walk in the container, they kind of do an inchworm. They look kind of like an inchworm as they're walking, and they spread their body out. And snails are another thing that can live in an unhealthy stream. So those are some things that we would have found, well, we were hoping to find, in the mud run sample. And we've already discussed the stuff that we wanted to find in the Fry's Valley. So what this can kind of pretty much tell us that sometimes experiments work, and sometimes they don't really give us what we need. But today at least we got to see the difference in the leaf bags, as well as the coloring of the leaves and the coloring of the water. And we're able to just look at our list and see if we would do this for ourselves, at least we have a checklist that we can go to. All right. Hope you guys had a good time, and if you have any questions, I'm sure they'll be here to come.